In a sunlit corner of southernmost Africa, there's a very special rescue centre for some of the country's noisiest residents.
They're the coolest creatures alive.
The vets and volunteers at the SANCCOB Seabird Rescue Centre in Cape Town work night and day to save this indigenous species from dying out.
The African penguin is endangered, and unless we all take action to conserve them, they will become extinct.
Their aim is to release injured birds back into the wild.
Just to see them go back is unbelievable.
And to provide a loving home for those who can't return.
I love that bird.
She's the pretty one.
We are the penguin slaves here.
Life here is an avian soap opera where nothing is black and white.
Oh. Princess is jealous.
A place of life and death struggles.
He looks like he's gonna go.
Petty squabbles.
He's the complete jerk at the moment.
Oh.
And lots of waddles. It's time to meet the penguins. Back at the centre, it's a very special time of year. Some of the penguins here will soon be hearing the flippy flap of tiny flippers. It's nesting season. While most of the penguins that come to SANCCOB go back to the wild, not everyone can go home. Some are just too injured or have become too dependent on humans to be released. These birds become permanent residents of Homepen. And just like the staff here, they're working hard to increase the wild penguin population. Many of them are foster parents. Some of the eggs collected from the penguin sweeps are given to couples in Homepen.
They're sitting beautifully, yeah.
Like wild African penguins, the Homepen birds pair up to raise a family. Depending on how successful they are, they could stay together for life. Giving the foster parents eggs rather than chicks has been key to the sanctuary's success.
They're actually going through the whole process of hatching it themselves. So they're sitting on it, they're hearing it peep, they're monitoring it. So I think there's obviously that bond that is created.
But before a Homepen couple can be trusted with a precious egg, they must prove they've got what it takes to be good foster parents. And that means auditioning, sitting on a dummy egg,
Baby, okay.
and being monitored by staff to see if they look after it properly.
They sometimes kick them out, sometimes they will be crushed, but majority of the time they do sit for the full 40 days.
Several couples are auditioning to be foster parents at the moment, but there is one penguin that's more desperate to succeed than any other. Winston and his partner Kia have just been given their first dummy egg.
Winston and Kia at the moment are auditioning to be foster parents. If they do well in the next 40 days, we'll definitely consider giving them an egg.
Meanwhile, the sanctuary's vets are in an emergency situation. A penguin has come in with oil contamination. Little Slippy is just a few months old. He was found by a penguin ranger at the outer edges of the penguin colony and brought straight into the centre.
The oil penguin is around 20% oiled, but even though it doesn't seem like a large amount of oil, it is quite intense. The entire side of the body is actually covered in oil.
There doesn't have to be a big oil spill for penguins to be badly affected and die. Ships cleaning out their bilge tanks can release oil into the sea. All penguins have to do is swim into it.
If they have quite a large amount of oil on them, it can really have detrimental effects in terms of their waterproofing. They can get hypothermic, and then that means that they can't go and fish, so they could starve to death.
Helping oiled penguins is a big part of why the SANCCOB Sanctuary was set up. and there's an established washing procedure.
Sometimes a bird needs a few baths, so you'll move from one bathtub to the other until the bird's clean. We use a degreaser that kind of binds with the oil, and then you use a light soap detergent that you wash off the oil.
Toothbrushes are particularly good at getting the degreaser and detergent deep into the feathers and brushing out the oil.
Oh, you can see all that nice oil coming off.
This is a very perilous time for the little penguin, because as well as being thorough, the team have got to be fast.
We just need to be very careful. We noted the time, so the bird went into the bathtub about 10 to 10. So we know the maximum time we want to keep him here is 25 minutes.
And that's obviously because he might get too cold.
Yeah, it's very stressful for the bird to be in this situation for too long.
If the bird gets too stressed, it could go into shock and die.
We're in our second bathtub now, but it seemed that there's quite a lot of oil. It's not just superficially on the feathers, it's actually all the way down to the skin.
Healthy wild penguins flap around and try to escape a human grip, but little Slippy is starting to become unnaturally quiet.
So you can see the bird is showing us he's getting a bit over it. He is tired. He wants to move on, so we really need to speed this up.